Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis Mini once again. Welcome back to another Top 10. And this time I'm counting down my picks for the top 10 best video games that came out 10 years ago. Now, this is just my own personal list, okay? Some of your favorites aren't going to be on here. This is just the 10 games that I felt were the best to come out in 2010. So, to count it down to just 10, I looked to see what video games came out in 2010 that I played, and there were quite a bit. So, it was really hard to make this list, but I managed to make my list, and now I'm going to share it with you guys, okay? I feel like because 2020 is here, and it's been years and years, we've been having so many games for years, and I haven't started gaming till like late 2015, but you know, and with each year, I think I'm gonna celebrate the anniversary of those games by making a top 10 each year on how many years ago, like each decade or whatever. Let's get into the list. You understand what I'm trying to say here. Starting things off strong at number 10, I have Halo Reach. Now, I'm a fan of the Halo series. We're getting another Halo game that's kind of dividing people, whether if it's going to be good or not. I could say this is definitely the best out of the new trilogy, and this is actually a prequel to the overall franchise, and I think it's definitely one of the best video game prequels out there. It was fun, it was emotional, it had a really strong campaign, and usually I come into these games for a really good campaign, and I thought this had one of the best campaigns, and it has one of the craziest after credit scenes ever. Like, oh my god. Like, it's probably not one that I'm going to replay again anytime soon. I would probably have to replay the other Halo games, but Halo Reach, I think, is one of the best in the series. Continuing on at number 9, I have Alan Wake. This, to me, is an underrated gem for the Xbox 360. It's a shame we never got a sequel to this. I think we've gotten a spin-off game, and I think we might have gotten DLC. I'm not entirely sure. This was such an incredible game. I was really engaged, and as a horror fan, this is truly one of the best horror games I played. You play as an author, you know, like Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft, and you have to find your wife while trying to light up enemies with your flashlight so you can take them down. It's so creative, and I just had so much fun. I love the story. I thought it had a great main protagonist, and all in all, it was just super fun to play, and it's a shame. We're probably never going to get a sequel. Like, I really think it should, because the ending kind of left kind of like a bitter taste in my mouth. Like, I really wish it could have ended better. Nevertheless, it's a fantastic game. Continuing on at number 8, I have Heavy Rain. This is another kind of divisive video game. When it comes to games by David Cage, they're kind of hit or miss. I can definitely see the problems this has in this game, but it's definitely not one of the most replayable games. I mean, it kind of is if you want to get to the multiple endings and the alternate scenes. I think it has a really engaging story and likable characters, and I liked each of their story. But when it comes to the multiple endings, it's just really divisive on which one is the best one, because most of them are kind of like, it has a plot twist that comes out of absolutely nowhere that nobody could see coming, and honestly, it's kind of ridiculous. But I thought the graphics looked great, I thought the characters were spectacular, I thought it has a spectacular story, and it's just a fantastic game. It's available for PS4, and I still think it's a fantastic game. I have a review for it for my channel that I made a year ago, if you want to check that out. At number 7, I have Fallout New Vegas. Poor Fallout, with the reputation that's going on right now with Bethesda and Fallout 76. We're never going to get a game like this anymore. But I can say without a doubt, this is definitely better than Fallout 4, although I really enjoy Fallout 4 as well. This was a game that I've been meaning to play for quite a while, and once I finished it, I was really satisfied. Although I think the last level could have used a bit more work, but I could say with its multiple endings, they were really satisfying. The gameplay is still just as good as it was in Fallout 3. I thought it had really cool characters, I thought it had a cool villain, and all in all, it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's better than Fallout 3, but I could say it's one of the best in the series. Coming in at number 6, I have Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles is one of those JRPGs that's much different than most JRPGs. I mean, you don't really hack and slash away. I mean, it's like turn-based mixed with hack and slash combat. It was so good that it managed to spawn a spin-off game and a sequel, and we're getting a port of it on the Nintendo Switch, which I really want to get because I really haven't beaten the one on the Wii, but I still think it's an amazing game. Although I will say it's definitely not the prettiest game to look at for the Wii. That's why I'm really excited to get the Switch version, but it has an engaging story, fantastic characters, and some really cool weapons, like the Monada, I think is a fantastic sword to use when you're playing this game. I still think the combat and the tactics that you use in the game are still really, really, really well done, and with its lineup of characters and fantastic moments, and its massive open world setting, I still think this is one of the best Nintendo JRPGs ever. Coming in at my number 5 spot is my favorite indie game of 2010, Limbo. Limbo, it's an experience. It's an hour-and-a-half long experience that's going to have you die hundreds of times before you can make it to the end. It's a really deep game that, despite no dialogue or cutscenes whatsoever, I think it's really deep within its story. You play as this boy who's trying to find his sister. This game just caused so many fan theories, like, this kid might actually be a villain and actually might have killed his sister. Like, it's such a replayable game, and because this game was so awesome that 6 years later, Playdead, the developers of the game, made a successor to that, a more three-dimensional, still two-dimensional side-scroller, basically a 2.5D successor inside, which I thought was even better. But if it weren't for this game, we wouldn't have gotten that game, and I really thank Playdead for it. It's one of my favorite black and white video games of all time, and for a T-rated game, just like I mentioned in Symphony of the Night, it's still pretty damn disturbing, and I love it. At number 4, I have God of War 3, the end to one of the best PlayStation trilogies of all time. God of War 3 puts you in the shoes and the swords of Kratos. And all in all, this I can say is the best in the trilogy. It would have been my favorite game in the series if it hadn't been for the new God of War game in 2018. This is one of the best PlayStation 3 exclusives. The bosses are epic, like the one where you have to climb up this guy. It's a mixture of a boss and a level. It was just crazy. I will say, just like the endings to the other games on here, this one, it was kind of hit or miss, but with the new God of War game, it doesn't really bother me anymore. I think it improved so much on level design from the previous God of War games. Like, the ending level to God of War 1 was such a pain in the ass, but I can say everything else in here is practically nearly perfect in every single way. Coming in at my number 3 spot, of course, you know I had to put it up here somewhere, Super Mario Galaxy 2. A huge improvement over the first game. I mean, the first game I actually haven't even played, so I can't really say that, so I don't know what. I think we might be getting some Switch ports of those two games soon. I really hope we do. If that's true, then I'll definitely buy it. But Mario Galaxy 2 is easily one of the best modern Mario games, and one of the best 3D Mario games at that. The level design and the graphics and the music too. It's so spectacular, even after 10 years later, which I think the game turns 10 years old today. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe, I'm probably not going to upload this video until Monday, so I probably didn't upload this video on the same day as I made it, so whatever. It's such a beautiful game, and, you know, with Yoshi as your companion once again, it's just a breeze to get through. I mean, sure, it's still pretty challenging. I mean, it's impossible to get all the stars, like the perfect run. Oh my god, that level was such a pain in the ass. But, you know, this is definitely one of the top 5 best Mario games of all time, in my opinion. It made what made the other previous 3D Mario games great, and cranked them up to 11. Such a fantastic game. Alright, coming in at number 2. This was a really hard one because, you know, you get the drill. I mean, it's really hard to put, you know, this game at number 1 and this game, or this game, or this game, blah, blah, blah. Most people would put this game at number 1, Mass Effect 2. Despite the fact that I still love this game, there was just one game I enjoyed even more. But Mass Effect 2 is still the best in the series. EA has had a really bad reputation recently. We're never going to get a good Mass Effect game ever again after the disastrous Andromeda and the critically panned ending to Mass Effect 3. Yeah, that ending did suck, though I still enjoyed this game. This game had a much better ending, and honestly, it should have been what Mass Effect 3 should have been. Better story, much better combat, great new characters and returning characters, and, you know, some of the best storytelling I've ever seen in gaming, just like the first game did. And with this big trilogy mixed into one, you know, it's just, this is the game that I'm going to replay the most in the series. It's easily one of my favorite RPGs of all time, and one of my favorite games of the 2010s, and one of my favorite games of 2010. Alright, so my number one game that came out 10 years ago. This should be a no-brainer. If it's not Mass Effect 2, then it has to be the masterpiece, Sonic Free Riders on the Kinect. Oh my god, I love this game so much. Alright, it's a masterpiece. It's flawless. Oh my god, I could play this game over and over again. I mean, this game is so... No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ever brought that game up. Nope. My favorite game of 2010 is Red Dead Redemption, otherwise known as Grand Theft Auto in the West. This is one of the most unforgettable gaming experiences I've ever had. This game, it fulfilled me while I was playing it. It has such a fantastic story, a badass main protagonist that you rooted for and cried for all the way up to the very end. It's aged so well. And even with its sequel, Rockstar knows how to make fantastic open world games. And I think I like this more than almost all the GTA games. And I'm a big fan of GTA. But there's just something about this game that just made me love this game even more than those games. It has a fantastic setting. It has a fantastic story. Like, I rooted for this character. I loved playing as John Marston throughout this entire experience. It's like 30 hours, maybe even more, plus of fantastic storytelling and gameplay and action and all that. It's easily the best Western video game of all time. And, or I think I might like Red Dead Redemption 2 a little bit more than this. So, second best Western video game of all time, and my favorite game of 2010. Alright guys, so what are your favorite games that came out 10 years ago? Let me know in the comments section, and well, you know the drill, I have more videos coming out, blah 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 blah. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.